Megan Hicks of I Run Far, and I'm here in Rotorua, New Zealand. It's the morning after the 2017 Tarawera Ultramarathon. I'm with men's third place finisher Sam McCutcheon. Did I say your name right?
Yeah. Most people chuck an L in there, and McCutcheon, but no, you nailed it. McCutcheon.
Awesome. I feel like, we speak the same language, but I feel like I pronounce every single thing wrong in New Zealand.
Yeah, it's pretty hard around Rotorua with the mouldy names and everything.
Yeah.
Even I butcher.
Yeah. So yesterday was my first time watching you race, but you are not entirely new to this sport. You've been banging it up around New Zealand the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your background with trail running?
Yeah. So I suppose it was sort of a convert from a quasi-road runner.
Okay.
Yeah, I was been in a running club for about 2 years, and then I decided to enter the Kepler Challenge, and from there went in pretty blind, not knowing what to expect. Had an alright result.
Was that in 2015?
Yeah, it was 2015,
okay.
And I remember in the end, it was David Byrne and Marty Dent were just killing it, and then I think David hit a wall, and I ended up almost catching him, but not quite. He's just too quick.
Yeah.
And then from there on, they were like, "Hey, do you want to run 100?" And I was like, "Maybe, okay." And then we ran 100. Then they're like, "Do you want to go to Spain?" And I went to Spain.
Did you want to go to Spain?
Yeah. Well, funded. We pay for it. But so I went to. So last year I did the Old Cheesy in Wanaka, which is an amazing course. And then we went to Buffalo in Australia, and then the Buff Epic over in Val-di-Voi, and then Kepler again. And now I'm at Tarawera doing a completely different style of running. You actually have to run for the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like technically a 100% runnable course, isn't it?
Yeah. I felt bad. I walked for probably about 100 meters, and up the circle, obviously the loop of despair, or whatever they call it. But
yeah, that's
I felt
bad.
I felt like I was cheating. Everyone's like, "You run the whole thing." I know. Yeah.
100 meters of walking and 102 kilometers. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Probably underselling it. I'd walk most of that despair loop. But yeah, it's good.
So were you an adult onset runner, or did you compete like collegiately, or how'd you get to road running?
So I think I was thinking about this a while ago, and I think how it happened was I used to swim, so I used to be a swimmer at high school. Again, a pretty mid-tier, putting lots of effort, would be an alright swimmer, but nothing spectacular. And then I went to uni, and just time commitments, and obviously swimming's quite an expensive sport. I just started just keeping fit running.
Okay.
And then after uni...
It's like the easy sport to stay fit with, right?
Really easy, yeah. You use a pair of shoes and you're good to go. And I was in Dunedin then, which is quite similar to Wellington. It's a harbour with lots of hills around it, so you got the flat and the hills. And then, then when I went to Wellington, I decided I'd actually join a running club, and that was really helpful. So I joined Scottish, and Wellington, they got like good structure, really good people, and then started trying to do some faster races. Couldn't quite crack the fast stuff, got faster, but nothing.
So are we talking like 10Ks, half marathons?
Yeah, 10Ks, half marathons was the focus was generally the 10Ks for the club scene.
Okay.
And then you'd always do a couple half marathons and stuff just because and then just stepped up to the trail scene, and I've probably I'll do a couple of 10Ks, but they're more participation based.
Okay. It's a slippery slope in distance once you kind of move into the trail running scene. Like suddenly here we are talking about a 102 kilometer race when a couple years ago 10K was
it was me.
What you did.
Yeah.
How has that worked for you physically in terms of ramping up to that?
That's a good question. I had a few issues with injuries sort of mid last year, and I think it probably was just doing more distance and more time on my feet. I had some IT band issues, and so I've got a bit of a routine to go through that. But really, it's just trial and error. Just sort of I'd write down a program that I thought I could keep up with, and then do it for a few weeks and assess if I wasn't breaking down. I'd do that and then keep picking it up. But it's really hard to find the time before and after work and on the weekends, and I suppose that almost reins me in a bit, having a full-time job.
Yeah. So we were just talking before the interview, and you told me that you do corporate law, which is probably like a pretty time-consuming life.
Yeah. At times it's it takes up a lot of time. Recently it's taken up a lot of time, but it's cool because trail running is sort of one way to get out there and escape, and then you've also got sort of a bit more of a career focus on the other side, and it's still quite mentally stimulating, and I quite like the firm I work for, and we get good work, so it's a good balance. Sometimes it's a bad balance, but I think in my mind I want it to be a good balance.
So this, you've been competing since late 2015 in local trail running, and then you took it abroad and went to Spain and did quite decently among the international field there. Do you feel like you have a grip on what your potential is with the sport yet?
No, not at all. Okay. I think I'm fluking every race at the moment.
Do you really?
Yeah. I think I know in myself when I'm running too hard, but all the terrains are different and the gradients are different, and in Spain I was sort of I had a different approach to how I'd normally run. I just had a sore leg, so I was like, I'll run as far as I can until that blows up.
Whereas, and then finish.
Yeah, and then finish.
It to the finish.
Yeah, and that was pretty much how the race went for me.
Okay.
But yeah, it was that was I'd never done that much vert. I think it was 7.5.
It was a huge amount of vertical, isn't it?
Yeah, it just killed me. But in a cool way. Like it's each thing. It's just I don't know, when you're lining up, especially like Tarawera yesterday, and you've got these like gym warms and stuff, on the start line. It's pretty cool just being amongst all these people.
Yeah.
And being out there. It's cool how you can do that in trail running. You don't have to get invited to these things. You can just show up.
Enter in and show up on the same line as people who've had outstanding international performances.
Yeah, and then watch them run away from that.
Well, so that didn't entirely happen, let's be honest. You went out pretty quick. You put yourself in the range of Jonas Bood and David Byrne and in that pack.
Yeah, so that wasn't. Yeah, I think I went out a bit faster than I planned to. And,
okay.
I remember talking to Dave about the Blue Lake and sort of being like, well, we're here now. We might as well keep going. We're not going to slow down.
We've mucked it up this much.
Yeah. And then I ran with him and Jonas for a bit, and then they just put the hammer down after the. I probably could say the lake wrong, but after the aid station at the top of the lake.
At Okataina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So after
I
that.
practiced that one.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I was like, oh, man, I don't want to offend anyone.
I know.
Yeah. So after that, they ran off for a bit, and I sort of just went into my shell, and then went through a few patches and came right. But yeah, I think it is sort of, you don't want to come to a race like this and die wondering, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it's good to not collapse and also not have too much left in the tank at the end.
Yeah. So the I Run Far team saw you at a number of points along the course, and it did look like you were having, you looked
better times than worse times.
Yeah, there were a few spots where you looked rough, and a few spots where it's like, well, it looks like he's back. Looking good
definitely.
again. Is that kind of how it felt?
Yeah, definitely. From Otakana all the way through to the outlet, I was in a bit of a patch.
Yeah.
And then once we got on those forest trails and got some more sugar, and I came right again. And at the end.
You think it was sugar that helped you?
Oh yeah, I think it was.
Isn't that funny?
It is really
funny. A miracle drug in ultra running.
It's like you don't want to have any more, but when you have it, it actually is good.
Yeah.
For you. Yeah.
Did you, so late in the race, you were then in third position, and you were inching your way closer to second place Jonas Bood. Did you know that was happening?
I think you said no. I mean, someone told me Jonas was about 4.5 ahead of me, and I was like, I'm never going to catch that. But also I knew David Byrne, who's a phenomenal 10k runner, was right behind me. So I sort of had to.
Which has to be terrifying to have a guy with his sort of leg speed behind you late in a race.
Yeah, but you can't do much about it.
Yeah.
I sort of thought, I'll just do what I can.
Yeah.
But I think any other day, and it would have been a different way around therefore.
So in the last 15k, it went from you being something like 4.5 minutes back to under 2 minutes at the finish line. You didn't know that you were cutting into Jonas at all?
I didn't know. I heard people say that that I was looking good, but it's quite hard to pull back 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a K.
Yeah.
I was sort of like, if he happens to miraculously blow off, I'll be stoked.
Hop out of the woods.
Yeah. I turn a corner and he's walking. But apart from that, I was just running. I was pretty much running to my limit.
Yeah. When you crossed the finish line, like 3rd place, Tarawera Ultramarathon, international field, did you feel pretty stoked?
Yeah, I think so. I think it took a while to sink in.
So.
No. I think I was more stoked to finish than 3rd place. It's you get, I think from about 60, I just won. Not to end because it's it's a great experience.
Yeah.
But, I was feeling pretty average, and I think and then I think once I lay down and got some water, I think I was like, oh, it's really good for me. Like it's actually I'm really stoked with how I ran, and how everything came together. Because I wasn't feeling great a couple of weeks ago, this skin infection. Anyway, boring story, but I was
boring story, but
I wasn't sure how I was going to scrape up today. So I was sort of, and also we did the whole travel up yesterday. Worked half a day and flew to Auckland and drove over. Don't tell. I only worked half a day. I worked the whole day and then I came up here.
All 8 hours.
All 8
right?
hours.
Yeah. It was very serious.
All billable. Don't worry.
So last question for you. Like you're pretty young. You're 27. You had a great breakout run yesterday. What do you want to do next? What do you want to do with this sport?
It's a really good question. I think I'm still trying to find what works better for me, the hills or the running.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know. I think I do want to go race overseas more because it's I've only done the one race in Spain and the one in Aussie, I suppose. But the atmosphere is just amazing and the people over there. So I think I'd like to see where it can go. I think I'd like to do another one of each, another hill one, another runnable one, and sort of gauge it. But
it's a very analytical, lawyering perspective.
Result. Yeah.
Test the water.
Yeah. Before you commit one way and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sit on the fence. Yeah, it depends.
So, are there any races that you're actually specifically looking at?
Yeah, so we're going to Transvolcania in May, and so that'll be a hilly one, I suppose.
Yeah.
But sort of
pretty darn hilly.
Yeah. So we'll see that one. So it's sort of the whole combining a holiday with a race. So, so we've got that, and then we're going to go around Europe. So that'll be the focus for the next few months, and I'm going to do Buffalo again on the way. So it'll be we've got a cool short-term plan. Longer term, you see these guys what they're up to in Western States and stuff. And that'd be maybe one day, but a long one day. So.
A long one day.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you on your 3rd place finish.
Thanks.
It was a pleasure and really enjoyable to watch you hammer yesterday.
Cool. Thanks, mate.
Congrats again.
Cheers.